Hey, so I'm back with another video. So, I am here to review a new Housewives series, okay? So, we have the Real Housewives of Rhode Island. Now, I know I stopped reviewing the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I used to do that consistently, but to be quite honest, I stopped reviewing because I can't get on here and fake a review for y'all. That's just not my thing. I definitely need to be more consistent, but I can't get on this camera and fake and act like I give a shit about something if I genuinely don't give a shit about it. My review would be all of like 3 to 4 minutes, and that would be the end of it. So I just stopped reviewing the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills because I was just completely disinterested. Maybe next season they'll pull me back in, but like this season to me is a chop. It's a chop. It's a chop. It's a chop. But with there being a new city, state, or whatever, I said I'm going to do this. Now, I really want y'all, please hold my feet to the fire as far as me being consistent. One of the main problems with me on this damn YouTube channel is that I'm not very consistent. It's mostly just because, like, I tell y'all all the time, I got a baby, 2 dogs, and a nigga. Like, I'm busy. I be having shit to do. So I really want to get into the Real Housewives of Rhode Island. I watched the first episode. Thank you, Bravo, for putting it on YouTube. I mean, I have Bravo, so I could always watch it there. But I appreciate the easy access for YouTube. So I appreciate y'all putting the first episode on there. Shout out to y'all. When I first saw the trailer for the Real Housewives of Rhode Island, it literally just gave the Real Housewives of New Jersey. And I want y'all to know that out of all the Real Housewives, I can't stand New Jersey the most, specifically because of Teresa, but specifically because I feel like they have been... I haven't watched the Real Housewives of New Jersey. I want to say I stopped. I didn't watch it when it was first on. I like went back and watched it. And I think maybe around season 6 is when I was like, all right, enough is enough. Because I felt like they just kept the Teresa versus Melissa storyline. Like, I'm over it. I'm tired of it. It's just, to me, they're just going in a circle over there. It's just a big ass circle. And I was honestly tired of it. And to me, Teresa is so... like, I can't watch nobody like that. Like, I can't watch nobody. A person that's like Teresa, I cannot watch somebody like that on my screen. It literally drives me insane. So I just couldn't watch it anymore. But like I said, the first time I saw a trailer for this show, I literally thought to myself, please, so we're just doing another Real Housewives of New Jersey. Like, that's how I felt. But after I actually watched the first episode, it doesn't give the Real Housewives of New Jersey. I don't know exactly. Maybe I think it's good that it doesn't necessarily give me anything in particular. Now, yes, it's a little bit Jersey flavor up in there just because of like where they're located and the Italian family of it all. But I'm excited to see where this goes. I would like to say that as somebody that is 31 years old, and I've been watching, I think I've technically been watching Real Housewives for now like 10 years because I started watching when I was like 21. I just want to say I am so happy that like people my age bracket, like we're now starting to get to the age bracket where like people my age can be on the Real Housewives of any of the franchises. So I'm like really, really happy about that. Like, shout out to the 90s babies. And yeah, so I'm really happy about that. Even though there's only like one girl here, I think that's like 30. But, so let's just kind of go through the episode. Episode 1. I got my notes over here. That's why I'm looking to the side, y'all. So, let's start off with meeting the girlies. I accidentally stopped recording. That's my bad. But, anyway, so we meet, I think it's going to be 6 ladies, right? And I think in the little center, they're holding like a clam. I think that's what it is. So, let's start off. Let's kind of go through the girls the way that it went through on the show. So, first, we're going to start off with Alicia. Alicia gives me... they're kind of setting her up to be like the glue, like kind of like the person that's in the middle. She don't really have like a side that she's on. It always start off like that. We'll see as the season goes on, that's all it stays. But anyway, Alicia, she has one daughter and she has a fiance. The fiance owns like a bunch of restaurants. She really likes the pizza restaurant. And she has like a really big like Italian family or whatever. So we get to see her, with them. And one thing that's brought up or whatever is, I think one of her aunts is like, so y'all should get married here, y'all should get married there. And we find out, because her daughter is 9, we find out that Alicia and her fiance got engaged when she was 7 months pregnant. 9 years ago, child. 9 years ago. So they just one of the people that got like that forever engagement. It's giving to me, they're probably one of those people that like really don't want to get married, but is just keeping it in the middle so that people will leave them alone. That's just what it's giving me. That's what it's giving me. So to me, again, Alicia just seems like she's gonna probably be more of like the person that kind of sits in the middle, maybe a little bit of a mediator. So she ain't bothering me too much. Let's move on to Liz. Liz, to me looks just like Dolores, which we'll get into later. But the minute I saw Liz, I was like, is that Dolores or is that not fucking Dolores? We'll get into that later. But Liz is married to a man named Jerry. They've been married for 6 months. She said that they did an ancestry test and found out that they was like related, like some way, somewhere like down the line or whatever. And I was like, child, let me tell you, we're gonna get into the whole small town of it all. But I live in Pittsburgh, and when I'm telling you, Rhode Island sounds a lot like Pittsburgh to me. But I'll get into that later. They don't have any kids together, from my understanding, but he has 3 daughters, so she has 3 stepdaughters. And I love the fact that they own a dispensary. I'm like, so I haven't smoked in like consistently, like in like 3 months. I've been kind of like pulling back, but I love a little marijuana situation. I would love to own a dispensary. I've looked into it, but it's just like so much like money. It's like the barrier to entry to to have a dispensary is huge. Like you need so much money to start a dispensary. But I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Okay. Then we meet Kelsey. Kelsey she's been a housewife for about 10 years at this point, right? And interesting about Kelsey, so we don't actually get to see Kelsey's man, okay? All of the pictures that we're seeing of them is his face pretty much ripped off. And I said, girl, let me tell you something. You and Bravo messy, because Bravo knows damn well, and if Kelsey should know anything, she should know better. You know we gonna find out who this man is, right? I don't know why the housewives that do try to come on this show and try to hide whatever dude that they're messing with. It's the internet. We're gonna find him. Know that we are going to find out whoever this man is. Somebody is already doing the sleuthing to figure out who this man is. So yeah, y'all can keep his face off of TV all y'all want, but know that we online will know exactly who this man is and what he looks like, okay? But anyway, she pretty much described it as like a sugar baby kind of situation. That's what I got from it. She met him at 19 or whatever, and she was like, you know, he helped me with a lot of things, and you know, I miss Rhode Island, and I could have never been Miss Rhode Island without him. She said that 5 months out of the year he is not here, and that he dates multiple people. He does have other girlfriends. I think he goes to like Miami a lot of times, and he's dating other people. But she's in a situation now where she just turned 30. Love that. Like I said, as somebody that just turned 31 like 2 months ago. She just turned 30, and she wants more of like a committed relationship. So Kelsey's big thing, it seems like, is going to be her fighting off like rumors and overall judgment about her relationship, and also her trying to figure out what she wants to do. Now, this is what I will say about Kelsey that I respect. I at least respect the fact that Kelsey is forthcoming about her situation, because to be quite honest, Kelsey's situation is a lot of you bitches situations on the Housewives. She's just being more honest about it, and it's more like on the front street. But be clear, a lot of these housewives have open relationships. A lot of these housewives have open relationships that's only open on one side. So I at least appreciate this, right? She's given to me what like Erica should have gave on the Beverly Hills, which is like, bitch, like, let's just be real about it and say, not that Tom was messing with other people, but like, why don't we just give, like, let's just tell the truth of the matter. This is an older man that's much older than you. You with him for his bag, and it is what it is. That's pretty much what Kelsey told us. It's an older man. I'm with him for his bag, and I lived a nice lifestyle for a long time. And yes, I'm older now, and I do want to commit a relationship, but I know I'm never going to get that from him. So do I want to like leave this man and take the chance of trying to figure out this like lavish lifestyle that I've been used to for 10 years and try to figure out on my own? Or do I just suck it up and deal with it and continue to get the bag? I love the honesty of it all. And I also want to say that I love it because I feel like, as somebody that's 30, right? I feel like 35 and down, I feel like the way that we look at relationships, approach relationships, the honesty around them, they're much different than women that are older than us, right? Polyamorous relationships is not a big deal. I was just telling my mom this the other day. I was like, Mom, let me tell you something. people being in open relationships today, especially like around my age and younger, that shit's not that big of a deal anymore. I know so many people. Most people I know, they either are in an open relationship, tried an open relationship before, very much so open to like threesomes and stuff like that. Like, it's just not, it ain't as big of a deal today as it was at one point in time. So I appreciate like the honesty of her. She pretty much said, girl, I'm a sugar baby, point blank, period. I'm a sugar baby, and it is what it is, and I'm trying to figure out if I want to stay to get my sugar or if I want to pack my shit and go. Love that. Appreciated the honesty of that. Then we have Joellen, and I also want to say, a lot of you girls look alike, so like, give me a minute to kind of remember who is who, because this is a new franchise. Joellen might be one of the few people I'm actually going to know who she is, and that's because she's the only one with very, very, very dark hair, So she probably, no, it's her and somebody else. I think her and Ashley are the only two people with really dark hair. So that's how they're going to stand out to me. But anyway, we meet Joellen. Now let's get into the messiness of Miss Jo, okay? Let's get into the messiness of Miss Joellen. Now, when we meet Joellen, we meet her with her husband, Gary. Now, she tells us the story that she met her husband when they were in high school, right? And another good thing, right, to set it off is that everybody in Rhode Island knows everybody. Everybody knew each other since fucking kindergarten and went to middle school and high school and all of the colleges. So everybody knows everybody. And that's what I was saying about like Pittsburgh, whatever. I've lived in Pittsburgh for a long time, but I'm originally from New York. And when I moved out here when I was like in middle school, right? One of the main things, and one of the reasons even to this day, it's hard for me to even like claim Pittsburgh as any like portion of like, you know, just like my makeup, is because from the time I moved here, it was very obvious that everybody knew everybody. Everybody has been in the same school, or not even the same school. Like, Pittsburgh is really small, so even people that switched around in schools, these people have known each other since they was in kindergarten. Like, my man, literally, the two people, well, the people that he's mostly best friends with, he's been best friends with them or have known them since kindergarten or first grade. He's known these people. And I absolutely understood Ashley when she said later, coming into a situation like that where you're constantly being reminded that like everybody else knows each other since they were like this, since like yay high, right? You're always meant to feel like an outsider. And that's one of the biggest problems I've always had about living in Pittsburgh, is the fact that I am not from here. And it's not like, oh, well, you've been here since like 7th, 8th grade, so you should claim it. It's not that. Anytime people could remind me that I'm not from here, trust me, I was always reminded for the fact that I'm not from here, that I didn't know this person since first grade, I didn't know this person since kindergarten, I didn't know this person. But with that being said, similar to the Liz situation, right, when she said she found out that they was engaged, let me tell you something. When I was in middle and high school, when I'm telling you, that happened all the time, that people were boyfriend and girlfriend and found out that they was cousins. That was a normal occurrence out here, that cousins were constantly dating each other. I know one girl in particular that got pregnant by her daggone first cousin, and mind you, she knew, they knew, and they hid it from everybody because everybody knew that was nasty. But when I'm saying that is a real thing, like, I just appreciate that, because like I said, living in Pittsburgh, that's definitely something that's always something I always point out. Like, you people have known each other since y'all was like embryos, and y'all parents know each other, and y'all parents know each other. It's different when you walking into something like that, right? But anyway, the messy shit about this is Joellen met her husband Gary in high school when he was a senior and she was a freshman, which I think y'all know how I feel about that. What's in the conversation? But she said that her sister loved him, right? But she said she always wanted him. So she chased after him, and eventually she got him. Now, in my notes, before we go get any further, because my notes is in real time, my notes say, so what you mean your sister loved him? Like, what you mean? Like she had a crush on him, and you knew that, but you still continued to pursue him? Or were they actually a thing, and she was in love with him? Because if that's the case, that's trifling. If it's I think it's trifling in general if you knew that your sister had a crush on him. But if it's a situation where it's like, oh, my sister used to have a crush on him, and then by the time I started like messing with him or whatever, you know, like she had moved on or whatever. But if, well, we're gonna find out later. If they actually had a thing and you fucked around with the nigga that your sister was messing with, that's trifling. And Gary is just as trifling as well. We gonna get into that in a little bit. We gonna get into that. But I was just like, ooh, girl, that's trifling. She did say that Joellen said that she has a big mouth, and you know sometimes it's hard for people to take her. So to me, Joellen in this first episode, she's being set up as like the quote unquote villain, right? It seems like she's gonna be set up as the villain of the show. And she has 3 kids, 1, 3, and 10. God bless your 1, 3, and 10, because I only got I got a 2-year-old, and that's it for me, and that's enough. She is also in what is it, like aesthetic sales or whatever, and she likes making her own money. She don't necessarily like asking Gary for money, so I at least respect that. Then we move on and we meet Rosie. Okay, Rosie was a newscast girl, right? She's really, really cute. I like her. She has been married to her husband Rich for 1 year. Rich makes his money off of real estate, but he does a lot of other things as well. So she was saying how she has like this lifestyle whatever segment that's on TV, and she was gonna do like a picnic. So she had invited like a bunch of the girls to this picnic, right? She did say, because I think she went to go see, like, maybe it was like Liz, I think that she went to go see, because her and Liz is really, really, really close. And she pretty much said that she was worried about inviting Joellen, because I guess they had all of the girls went to Joellen's house or whatever, and she said that she had brought like a $6 like, you know, like bottle of wine, probably like some barefoot shit, and how Joellen pretty much had talked shit about her. And Liz was just kind of saying how she feels like Joellen is actually extremely negative. And we're going to get into the why of that, in my opinion, a little bit later. But Liz was like, I think Joellen is so negative, but she don't want people to know that she's negative. So she just projects pretty much a lot. We're going to get into that later. So then we have the picnic, and we also learned that Rich, you niggas is always trying to fucking take advantage of somebody, whatever. That the reason she met Rich is because when she met Rich, he was the producer and she was the intern. And I'm like, y'all always trying to fuck the intern or the secretary. Like, get a new hobby. Like, find a new trick outside of fucking the intern or the secretary. You old, nasty fucks. I'm tired of that being the story. I'm tired. But shout out to Rosie. Get that bag, girl. So, Ashley ends up coming. I guess we could just talk about Ashley now. But Ashley comes to the picnic, and we learn about Ashley that she was on The Bachelor, and the husband that she has now, Jared, she met him on Bachelor's Paradise, which I think is like the spinoff of The Bachelor or whatever. And that they've been married for 6 years, and they got 2 kids, and that they're from Virginia. So this is what I'm talking about when Ashley says, you know, me being like not from here, it seems like it's really hard to kind of get in with these people because they're like, who are you? That's what I'm saying. Like when I moved out here, and even years after I moved, I was living here, that's how it felt. It felt like I had to accept the fact that I'm never gonna fully fit in, because most of these people, they won't allow me to. They're not gonna allow me to. It's just the facts of the matter. So I found my friends where I found my friends. So we learned about the different little cliques or whatever. So they said that Alicia, Joellen, Liz, and Kelsey, they're all kind of like this little clique. And I think Rosie was like, for you to kind of get into that clique, you have to be cool with Joellen, which I think is so high school, but like that's the Real Housewives, right? High school ass shit, okay? So we also talk about the fact that, specifically when it comes to Joellen, that there is a rumor that Joellen is a swinger, right? It comes up a little bit later, so we're going to touch on that. And somebody confirmed, I forgot if it was Liz or somebody, but somebody confirmed, somebody was like, well, yeah, I have a good relationship. Maybe it was Liz who said, I have a good relationship with Joellen's husband because we went to high school together and some other things. She's like, but not as close as he has a relationship with his sister-in-law. And the producer was like, well, what does that mean? And she was like, well, you know, him and Joellen's husband and his her sister, you know, they had a little thing together in high school. And I said, okay, thank you for confirming. Joellen, we're going to talk about it a little later because I've seen the relationship with your mama, so that might give me a lot of insight to why you act the way you do. That's trifling. That's trifling. Let me tell you something. There was a boy in high school that I had a crush on, right? And me and him, people really used to think that me and him was a couple because we used to walk down the hallways holding hands together. He would carry my books. we would be in class playing little handsy and stuff like that, but we was never actually together. We just like liked each other. And I had found out randomly from like my best friend that she had a crush on this boy too. Now, mind you, she didn't go to to like the same school as me, but you know she used to for a little bit, then left. But she knew him or whatever. When I found out that my best friend to this day, she my best friend to this day. When I found out that my best friend had a crush on this boy, that mind you, everybody think me and him together. You know how fast my attraction to him just completely dropped off, or I pretty much forced myself to like not be attracted to him anymore. It didn't matter to me that technically me and him was a lot closer. Technically, I could tell that he was feeling me the way. I didn't care. That's my best friend, and she got a crush on a nigga, and I got a crush on a nigga. Guess what? Guess nobody will have him. Cause I'm never about to fuck with no nigga that my best friend has a crush on. Now, mind you, my best friend is a whole bisexual woman and had a whole ass girlfriend for 10 years at this point. But the point of the matter is that when somebody was like, oh, such and such is not girl's girl, I'm really a girl's girl. I do not play that. I don't do the, I date my friend's ex. I even entertain my friend's ex. I don't play that. And that was with my best friend. Meanwhile, like I said, she's like my sister too. But if I'm like that with my best friend in 9th or 10th grade, damn sure not if somebody was fucking around with my sister, like my blood sister. There's no way that I could be married to a man that I know for a fact was fucking around with my sister at any point in time. At any point in time. And Gary is trifling as well. Because you wanted to fuck your girlfriend's little sister. You're nasty as for that. Trifling. I don't care that they're married. I don't care that they have kids. To me, that's a flaw. That's flawed character right there. That's a flawed character in both of y'all. I don't like that shit. That's weird as fuck to me. Not even the swinger part. Swing all left and right. I don't care about that. But you fucking around with your ex-girlfriends or somebody that you used to fuck, younger sister, is trifling. And for you to say that you knew that your sister liked this man, yet you continuously pursued him until he wanted you, nasty work. You can't talk to me about nothing, Mrs. Joellen. So sorry. So then, you know, we have, so before the picnic, we had, I believe it might have been Liz. I can't remember if it's Liz and Alicia. They confused me. But either Liz or Alicia, they went to go see Kelsey. And I love the way whoever it was pulled up in their little boat or whatever, their little speedboat. I hopped off and one go got some food. I said, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I would never do that because I'm terrified of the water. But I love that you did that. And when they were sitting there talking, they were pretty much talking about her relationship. And her just, like I said earlier, feeling like, I've been living this lifestyle for such a long time. Like, this man, like, the stuff that I'm able to get, the house that I live in, like, everything is just perfect. And although I'm at the age where I want to be in a committed relationship, I'm not ready to give up this lifestyle. And I know for a fact, she ain't say this, but the fact of the matter is, I wouldn't be able to provide myself this lifestyle the way that he does. She don't work. She don't do nothing. And she's like, so she pretty much trying to decide, is me trying to get into a committed relationship with somebody and stepping away, like, is it worth me giving up my lifestyle of not having to work and not having to do this? And I really appreciate that, because I feel like a lot of these housewives, that be their situation. They don't be wanting to leave their husband because they don't want to lose the lifestyle that they have. And I appreciate that level of honesty. And she loves him too, but it's really more so, I ain't trying to leave this lifestyle. This is a nice lifestyle. And I appreciate a housewife coming on and being honest about the fact that I want to leave this man. Like, I feel like that was, what's my girl from Real Housewives of Salt Lake City that just got a divorce with Todd? Y'all know who I'm talking about. Oh, I can't think of her name right now. But y'all know, I don't know how I remember Todd's name, but not hers. That lady, right? Instead of her just being real and being like, yeah, I really do love Todd, but at the same time, I like the lifestyle that I live and I don't want to give it up. Like, that's the facts of the matter. That's why she was so willing to be like, I'm cool if Todd just goes out and does his own thing, because she don't want to give up the lifestyle that she has. I prefer bitches to just be honest and say, I don't want to give up the bag. Just be honest and say that. So I appreciated that. But anyway, they have the picnic, and at the picnic is Joellen, Rosie, Joellen, Rosie, because Rosie's the one that threw it. Ashley, and is it Alicia? Alicia, maybe? Alicia. I'm keep getting Alicia and Liz mixed up. But anyway, it's only four of them, right? So Joellen comes on and she's like, I only came because, I don't know, maybe like Liz or Alicia. Alicia invited me or whatever. But I don't fuck with Rosie because I feel like she just runs her mouth and she talks a lot of shit. So, like I said, we meet Ashley. Ashley tells us, about her being, we went through all of that. And then when they sit down, Joe Ellen was pretty much like, well, I saw Kelsey, she came over to my house and, she was just talking about some of her issues. And Rosie was like, well, what about like Kelsey? Like, don't she gotta like what's her situation? Like, don't her man got girlfriends and stuff? So Rosie was pretty much just talking about, I guess, all of the rumors that people have heard about, like her being in an open relationship. And Joe Ellen was like, well, I mean, why don't you just ask her? Like, I don't really want to talk about her business. And this is where I get a little confused, which it comes up later, which is like, okay, Joe, I appreciate you kind of shutting it down a little bit and being like, if you want to know more about her business, you should ask her. But at the same time, to be fair, like Rosie said, you are technically the one that brought up that Kelsey was having issues. So if you didn't bring that up, there would be no point of having that conversation. And it's like, if you wasn't ready to tell everything that she talked about, you probably shouldn't have brought it up at all. So it's like, again, I kind of appreciate you shutting it down, but at the same time, you're the one who brought it up. And what the fuck is the point of bringing it up if we all can't talk about it? I thought it was weird. So then, Joe and Rosie kind of start going back and forth, and Rosie was like, you're very mean and you talked real bad shit about me at your party. You said that you feel like I shouldn't be around kids or anybody. She was like, I mean, I didn't say that, but like, I do feel that. I was dead. I said, come on, Joe. I appreciate, if Joe Ellen is going to be one of them villains that stand in her shit, then I'm low-key kind of here for it. I don't like when bitches on Housewives want to be the quote-unquote villain, but then don't want to stand in the shit that they say. Like, if you want to say it, stand in it, bitch. Like, this is what I said, and I'm not changing it. You can still be a bitch, but I appreciate her standing 10 toes on what the fuck she said. So then Rosie starts to cry. It seems like Rosie's going to cry every 5 seconds. That's what it's giving to me. It's giving Rosie going to cry every 5 seconds, and all these bitches is about to cry every 5 seconds. I just thought it was funny that Rosie was crying. And Joe was like, well, look, Joe was like, I don't have any issues with you. Like, let's just call it an even. And I want to invite all of you guys to like my 4th of July party. So she invites everybody to their 4th of July party, right? So then we move on and we meet, like I said, we get to know a little bit more about Ashley and her husband, okay? Now they have a coffee shop. And I think it's called Audrey's or whatever. And, she talked about how, the coffee shop is a lot of work. And it's not bringing in as much money, as, they thought. So, can I tell you why I was a little irritated by this scene? I was irritated by Ashley being irritated. So, Ashley comes, not when the store's closed. It looks like it was the middle of the damn day. She comes in the middle of the damn day with her little laptop, right? With her laptop, she's sitting there, clearly her husband is working, right? Clearly her husband is working, okay? And she sits down and she starts to try to have a conversation with him, whatever. And it seems like she's getting irritated because he is working while she's talking to him. And I'm just sitting here like, you don't think this conversation, I mean, I get it that, like, we have to film and stuff, but you don't, like, why does it seem like you're getting irritated by the fact that he's not, like, in the middle of you talking to him, he's like, oh, like, such and such, your coffee is ready. Oh, telling his employees, like, oh, this is over here and that's over here. And it seems like she's getting irritated, and I'm like, why does it seem like you're getting irritated by the fact that this man is working? Like, you are the one that brought your ass into this place in the middle of him working, but you expect him to give you full undivided attention. It didn't make a whole lot of fucking sense to me, right? So she was pretty much saying, in her confessional, how, she was like, when we first got this place, like, he was working like 100 hours a week. And I'm like, yeah, that's what happens when you get like a brick and mortar, whether it's a restaurant or a coffee shop. Like, you got to put in the work when you first get it, right? And she was like, and I just feel like, like he needs to pull back from work a little bit. So they talked about how, they talked about him pulling back hours and you know how he has, and she said he has a little bit, but she pretty much said to him, and I'm gonna be real, I didn't like this part either, where she was like, I feel like the spark in your eyes for this place isn't the same. And she said in her confession, like, me and him, you know, we're both influencers or whatever, and I feel like he could make a lot more money or just as much money if he was to stop doing this and actually lean more into his influencer. And can I just say the reason why I didn't like that? Number one, the whole thing of, oh, you don't have the spark in your eye for this place, da 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 da. And he said, yeah, I don't, but I still love what I do. And this is as somebody whose man, like, is like a manager, right, for a restaurant and stuff. Yes, he gets irritated a lot because it's just a job. No matter what job you do, you're gonna get irritated. But guess what? He still wants to open his own restaurant. And when he opens his own restaurant, guess what? It's not gonna be all butterflies and cakes. He's not gonna be walking around smiling every fucking 5 seconds, because at the end of the day, it's still a job and it's still a business and it's still stressful. So the idea of like, oh, well, I don't see no spark in your eyes, meanwhile in the middle of him actually like doing some shit or whatever, like, oh, that means that you should just give this up altogether. It's like, it's one thing if he felt like he's not passionate about it anymore, but nothing about what he said gave that he wasn't passionate. He's just working and he's just stressed out trying to get something that he really wants to work. This is how I feel. He wouldn't be so stressed out if he didn't give a fuck. Like, if he didn't give a fuck about this place, then whether it failed or not probably wouldn't bother him but so much. But it seems like he actually gives a fuck about the spot. And I don't like this idea of like, oh, well, you could be making more money doing this. Maybe, and maybe not. I think it makes sense for him to actually have a hard brick and mortar, something that's going to continuously, that people are always going to want to go to, which is a coffee shop, versus leaning into being a fucking influencer. No shade. I've never heard of either one of you niggas. Like, this is just a fact. I've never heard of you nor him. Influencing is only gonna last for but so long. If you ask me, as somebody that's in marketing, the influencer, that shit is already kind of like tipping off a little bit as far as like what it used to mean and what it used to do. Now everybody's an influencer. Bitch, I could be an influencer and I'm a nobody. I just feel like having a coffee shop and like a brick and mortar and something that's like tangible within that way, I think that's actually way more like secure of an investment than you guys leaning into being an influencer. Because in 5 years, like I said, I don't even give shit. I don't know who y'all are, give a shit now. Who's to say in 5 years anybody gives a fuck about who y'all are? Who cares about buying something from y'all? Who says that in 5 years y'all are going to be able to influence anything? Influencing to me is a very specific niche thing that you need to get your money as much as you can and then get the fuck out. But it's not something that you can do forever. Marketing changes, the way that we interact with people online changes, social media. The market for influencers is already so heavily saturated or whatever. I think it makes all the sense in the world for him to have something that's actually very concrete and that he can build on outside of like his actual, you know, like influencing nature. Like, you can just build a really good solid coffee shop and people will come outside of the fact that they know that you being a bachelor or being from The Bachelor. They can just come because they know it's a solid ass coffee shop, period. I didn't like that. I'm sorry. That really bothered me. That like she was like, he doesn't have as many followers as me, but I think that he should just do that. Like, why? Like, I get it. You want him to spend more time at home, but I just think long term, influencing is only going to take you but so far for but so long. Because then what happens when you can't influence nobody anymore? What happens when people don't give a shit no more? What happens when people start to age out of even giving a shit about what you have to say? Then what the fuck you going to lean back on? You know what I'm saying? So that bothered me. So then we have Joellen starting to get ready for her 4th of July party. And this is when we learn a little bit more about Joellen and things start to make a whole lot of more sense for me, right? So Joellen talks about how her mama is going to come over and watch the kids. But she is very concerned because Joellen's mama was extremely rough. She didn't have the best growing up. And she said, I never even had a roadmap on how to be a mom. I had to figure this shit out on my own. And I would just like to say, I need y'all to take notice into something. All my other people that watch other Real Housewives shows in Bravo. Kenya. Heavenly. Let's just stick for them two for now because those are the first two that come out off my head. Kenya mama pretty much did not want her. heavenly mamas. She ain't have a great relationship with them. And do you not see that those two women in particular are pretty much like kind of like the villains on their show? I think that when women in particular, I can't speak for men, when women in particular don't have the greatest relationship with their mom, the way that they show up in relationships with other women, it tends to always be like not the best. Because when you don't have a great relationship, like that's the first woman that you're gonna have a relationship with is your mom. And when you feel like you don't got a good relationship with your mom, or your mom don't like you, or your mom don't care about you, then you can give two shits about any other woman that's around you. That is a lot of times how it is. And if you really notice women that struggle to have relationships with other women, it's normally because they ain't got the best relationship with their mom. So to me, now knowing that and then hearing what everybody else says about how Joellen acts, I'm not excusing it. I'm saying it makes sense to me. Sorry, my parents called me about my kid. Anyway, so yeah, all I'm saying is that I think when you don't have a great relationship with your mom, you tend to have a hard time having a good relationship with other women. So all that shit made all the sense in the world to me, okay? So then we see everybody on their way to the 4th of July party, right? And Rosie lets us know that, you know, she brought like a nice bottle of champagne or whatever, you know. And the crazy part of it, the crazy part about it is the champagne that they got. I just got that champagne like last week or whatever. I think when I went to the Capitol Grill for my anniversary a few weeks ago. And I had, normally I'm not much of a drinker too, even though I'm drinking right now. I'm not too heavy of a drinker. Normally I try to just drink like a Prosecco because it's like a slow build of buzz for me. But I was like, you know what, let me try something else. And the champagne that they actually bought was what I tried when I went to the Capitol Grill. And then the following, like last week, I went and I got like a whole bottle. And when he was like, it was like a $60 bottle, I was like, yeah, it was $56 and some change. So after tax, it was about $60. That's a good ass champagne. I don't know what, whoever might be hating later, that's a good damn champagne that they got, and it gets you where you need to be very, very, very fast with a little bit of amount. Love that. But Rosie pretty much was like, oh, I got this, you know, for her because I do want to really make amends. And Rosie, her question was like, I really am that person where I want everyone to like me. Like, I know that that's not possible, but I want everybody to like me, so I'm going to try. And I'm like, oh, girl, that's going to be an issue. That's going to be an issue, and it's probably going to irk me that you want everybody to like you, but whatever. So then we get to the 4th of July party, right? And this is when we see Dolores with Liz, and I was like, I knew them bitches look just alike. And we come to find out that the reason they look alike is because they got the same surgeon and the same dentist. I said, yes, I knew it. Y'all look like sisters. Even the person doing the caricature said that. So we also find out from somebody, we learn more about Joellen's tea. Somebody said that, I don't know, they met Joellen at like let's just say like a salon or whatever. And Joellen at the time was hooking up with the owner. And they come to find out later that she was hooking up with the owner and the owner's wife. I said, woo, child. Baby, Miss Joellen is swinging from the trees. Swinging, just a swinging. I know that's right. I'm not judging at all. So then, you know, all of the girls get together, and Rosie and them are kind of like separate from everyone else. But Joellen tells Kelsey that Rosie had questions about, you know, her life or whatever. So now Rosie is irritated by the whole daggone thing. So the whole rest of like the episode is pretty much just like Rosie being irritated. Kelsey being irritated by the fact that Rosie had, you know, brought up her life, and she was like, I'm so tired of everybody. She's sensitive around it. She's like, I'm tired of everybody bringing it up like it's my life. I'm pretty sure she gets judged a lot from that or whatever. So when Kelsey finally sees Rosie, she pulls her to the side and was like, hey, you know, I heard you had all of these questions like about my life. Like, I'm trying to understand why. And Rosie was like, well, I mean, Joellen is the one that brought it up. And she was like, what? And she's like, she the one that brought it up. So that's why I asked, like, yeah, I had questions. But she said that you was having issues with your relationship. And so I asked more questions about that. Like, and she said during the her confession, like, I'm nosy as hell. So yeah, I had a bunch of questions. So then Kelsey felt some type of way. And it's like, to be fair, both of them is right. Rosie was being nosy, as she said, and was asking all these questions. But Joellen is the one who technically brought up that you was having issues within your relationship. Now, she didn't go into detail, but she did bring it up. So for Joellen to kind of go back and tell Kelsey without, like, telling the whole story is weird. But I thought the first episode was cute. It gave me enough. Obviously, I've been here for almost 40 minutes. It gave me enough. I am interested in seeing how the rest of the season goes. It seems like it's real messy within the marriages, and I'm here for it. I always feel like the Real Housewives to me is always better when the men are involved. Like, to me, Married to Medicine is top tier because the men are involved. And one of the reasons I did like the Real Housewives of New Jersey for a long time is because the men were a little bit more involved. I think it just makes it so much more interesting when the men are also somewhat involved in like the bullshit of it all. So I'm interested, y'all get in the comments, don't tell me what y'all think about the first episode. I'm out. Bye.